Welcome! That's not what I usually say. Hey there! Today we're going to have a look at a fascinating pen. I found this fascinating. I was contacted by the company that said, can we send you a pen? I said, you can send me a pen. Can you review it? Yes, I can review it. Will you do it? Yes. Okay. Boom. Done. And I find that interesting because it's a brand I had not heard of, but I think they make intriguing pens. You can buy them through Amazon. I'm not affiliated, etc. I don't get a commission, but you can buy them through Amazon. I think that's currently the only way to get them. Pens and watches, and I know the two go hand in hand. I don't really care for watches that much, but for some of you that may be interesting and relevant. So that's nice. The brand, I'm going to say Xezo. X-E-Z-O. Notice how I said Z and not Z. Xezo, I'm not really sure. Xezo is always nice for the Dutch people, but I'm going to call them Xezo. So send me this pen, and in a way I'm fairly excited about it. I find this an intriguing piece. So I'm going to show you the pen, I discuss the parts, I tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and I'll do a writing sample. Now the pen came in a pretty complete package, which is nice. Little booklet, how to fill it, how to put in refills, how to ink up the pen. Very useful, and don't take that kind of stuff for granted. Just the other day someone commented on one of my videos and said you only show the pen, you don't even show how to put the cartridge in. So for some people these kinds of things are necessary, right? If you're new to fountain pens, you can need this. So it shows you how to fill it up with ink and all that stuff in a couple of languages. There's even a couple of pictures of the pens in color, so it's not a bad booklet. I've seen considerably worse. Get to the pen, you have this Xezo X on the cardboard outer sleeve, and then we have the box. Now, I don't really care for pen boxes. I know that people love that and they go all insane. I don't really care for it, but I have to admit this one is kind of cool. It doesn't look particularly special from this angle, I think, because if you have a few pens you have seen a box this size and that shape and all that, but it opens up like a Ferrari or whatever the cars are with the door that does this. I don't know, I'm not a car person. It's also not a car review. Go away. Okay, so it's this. Not real leather. It's definitely some fake leather, but that's okay. Nicely lined box, and I like it. It's a cool presentation. I can see how there would be people who would put it on their desk like this, and you know, it wouldn't look horrid. So that's not bad at all. We have the pen. I know you want to see it. I'll come to that in a second. You get 4 cartridges. That's not that bad, because often you get one and sometimes a blue and a black. You get 4 cartridges, and I haven't tried them, but I think they're black. Little pen sleeve. There is a... Sorry, I'm fiddling with this because very tight plastic. There is a little booklet which is, I think it's the warranty. Yes, it actually is a certificate of quality with the name, the serial number, because it's a limited edition pen, and a signature of, I assume, the person who has inspected this. So handwritten in there, always nice, and a little international warranty card, which is sort of like the plastic credit card type thing. Of course there's the pen, but finally what I want to show you, I haven't even opened that yet, but is a polishing cloth of surprisingly large size with, again, the Xezo X. I have definitely received pens with polishing cloths that were a quarter of the size, something like this. So get a nice cloth, pretty nice package. What about the pen? Oh, that's the pen. All right. There are several models. I particularly liked this one. I'm glad this one was sent to me. The Incognito. Incognito. Say what you want. And this is the black and gold version, which is supposed to have 18 karat gold trims, which is interesting. Now, I spent some time in the packaging, but as you can see there was a lot in that, so I'm just going to go into the pen now. Top of the pen, nothing, just blackness, but nicely polished, very shiny. Clip works well. Now, on top of the clip, right there, it's very small, so I don't know how well the camera would pick that up, so I'm just going to read it to you. It says 60 out of 300 2017, as I said, limited edition pen. Also, it's all very small writing, but around, so on that ring that keeps the clip into place, it says limited edition, 18 karat gold plated. And then on the side of the clip, it's really hard, again, I don't know if the camera picks it up, but it says Xezo Incognito. Incognito, as it were. You have this interesting texture on both the cap and the barrel. Nice Greek key design there. And then there is this texture on the barrel, and sorry, on the cap. And although there is a clear texture in it, it is completely smooth. So I don't know if I explained that well, but you see there is some type of texture in it, but to the touch it feels completely smoothly. Then we have the barrel, and then at the end, an end cap. It's cartridge converter filler, of course, otherwise you wouldn't get the cartridges. It's a pretty heavy pen, as I understand it. It's brass, and it weighs something. Cap unscrews, cap posts, should you want to do that. Have a hefty pen that way, it's really pretty heavy. And even unposted, I think it's a sizable model. Section, simple, tapers down, gold bit, flares out a little bit, and then we have the nib. And I know that people are going to jump when they see that nib, because it looks like a number 5 nib, and yes, it says Iridium Point Germany, F for fine. Above that is the X for Xezo, and I'm trying to figure out, I don't think it's laser engraved, I think it is actually engraved. What I would like to point out, and again, I don't know how well the camera picks this up, but that Iridium Point Germany is actually put on there in sort of a cursive writing, which I've not seen. Usually it's a simple sans serif font. This looks a bit nicer than what it usually looks like. Now, for those new in the pen world, or those who have never heard of Iridium Point Germany, why is that an issue? It's not necessarily an issue, and a while ago I did a video in which I try to explain why I don't consider that to necessarily be an issue. The problem is a lot of cheaper, of manufacturers of cheaper pens use those kinds of nibs, and they're not always great. Also, often they're not German at all. They are maybe made with material purchased in Germany, but they're not necessarily German nibs. And the reason that's important is that a lot of people associate German nibs with a specific level of quality, which you may not necessarily get from nibs produced elsewhere. Of course, there are excellent nibs made in China. See, the average Jinhao pen writes pretty much flawlessly as far as I'm concerned, but it's always a bit odd. So I would definitely recommend the brand of Xezo to see if you can take that off. Use an unbranded nib, put your nice X logo on it, and take off the Iridium Point Germany, because it evokes a sort of an association that not every fountain pen user is equally enthusiastic about. Now, interestingly enough, I did find the nib to write well. Yes, it's fine, there's a little bit of feedback, but it's really not that horrible, and it does put down a consistent line of ink on the paper. There's no real skipping that I noticed, and it's a pleasant writer. It also helps that it's a bit heavy, so you definitely put some pressure on the paper, and I'm now going into things I like about it, things I don't like about it. The only thing I didn't mention was the clip. As you can see, it's on the stiff side, but it definitely works. So, the pen writes. I will definitely say that. I also like the manufacturing of the pen. Everything is smooth, it's nicely rounded off, there's no sharp edges. Cartridge converter filled pen converter is also supplied along with the 4 cartridges. It is also branded. It says Xezo Germany. If it's a really German brand, maybe I should say Xezo. I'm not sure, but simple, and it all works. It all comes together, and it doesn't really feel like a cheap pen to me. Greek key design is nice, eye for detail. For example, those gold lines all line up between cap and barrel, and that, I think, is a big plus, because in a lot of cheaper pens you would end up with something like this that does not really line up, or that doesn't line up completely, or it's just rotated, it's off. Some people would like that too. It's not a big deal, but I think it is nice that the eye for detail is there and those things should line up. It's just nicer that way. Solid pen, literally, heavy, good weight, good balance, especially unposted. Sorry, I didn't find it too heavy to use. It's a good size. I like it. I also really like the complete package, large polishing cloth, 4 cartridges, converter, you have the handwritten warranty thing and all that. All of that's nice. But here's the deal. The price for these pens is $169 US. And I think that some people consider that a little high. Especially, yes, it's a limited edition, yes, it's nicely made, yes, there's some 18 karat gold plating. But as long as that nib says Iridium Point Germany, I think people are going to object a little bit. I think people are going to feel that that is a cheaper nib kind. And that is something that really needs to be overcome to take away that bias, because that's all it is. I have used Iridium Point Germany nibs that are pretty bad, and I've used nibs like this that really perform well, without issue, that write well, and I think this pen writes better than some more expensive pens I've used. But the image evoked is a bit of an issue. So if Xezo could polish away that Iridium Point Germany stamp, I think that would make a big difference, and I think people would be a lot more accepting in the fountain pen community of a brand like this. In all, I don't think it's horrid. Can you get cheaper pens that are piston fillers? Definitely. Can you get cheaper pens, cartridge converter, that are metal, that have a good nib? Yes, you can. But I think this is this type of pen fills a very specific niche. I think this is a sort of a business gift type pen. Look at the complete packaging, look at the nice box, look at the accessories you get. This is something you can give someone and they would think, wow, that's a very nice fountain pen. So whether you find the price entirely warranted, I leave that up to you. All I can say is the pen does as advertised. It writes well, it feels solid, it doesn't feel cheap. You get some accessories that are nice. I don't really see any issue. But I can see how for some the price would be a bit prohibitive. Okay, and on that note, Xezo, thank you very much for sending me the pen. I do appreciate it. I appreciate collaborating with you. We need to see how the pen writes. That's coming up next. Measurements of the pen, as well as high-resolution pictures, will be on the website sbrebrown.com. I hope this was useful, and I'll gladly see you later. Bye-bye. Okay, here we go with the Xezo. This X could also be this X, that X, that X, and as far as I'm concerned, even this X. Why would I point this out? Well, over the years I've noticed that of all the letters I write, the X is the most controversial. So I would just like to take this second to say that unfortunately, this is my idiosyncratic Dr. Brown, S.B.R.E. Brown, fountain pen reviewer, comma, X. Nothing I can do about it. So let's not worry about it too much. This is the... See how adventurous I am? I made a whole new X just for you. This is the Xezo Incognito. Notice the dramatic pause I built in there. Black gold, black and gold, black gold, whatever you like to call it, fountain pen. The nib is a fine. And the ink is my recently discovered and absolutely loved Waterman Purple. Very nice ink. I really like this. It has some name, I have it behind me, but I can't be bothered to look it up. It's the only purple they make, okay? Live with it. The paper is Rhodia. Now, let's look at this pen. I'm using absolutely no pressure. Fine writing. Nib gives some feedback, is a fine nib, but nothing horrible. Fast writing. I'm really pushing it there because clearly I don't think anyone writes at this speed. You miss some a bit there, and there was something else up here. There, it definitely misses a stroke or two. So maybe I would make this a little bit wetter, but there we go. Okay, wetness. Waterman inks are pretty well behaved, so I wouldn't call this a particularly dry ink or anything, but as you can see, the pen just doesn't put down a very juicy line. Line variation. There is some to be had, for sure, which is kind of nice, especially in a fine nib, because it's just more pronounced there. And you see you can definitely add some character to your handwriting, which I think is nice. Reverse writing, typically done to make a nib write finer. This is already really fine, so I don't think there's much point to that. You can see it runs very dry if you do so. So it's not really the type of pen you want to do that with, I think. Xezo, thank you very much for sending me this pen. I found this a very interesting opportunity to try out your work. Guys, I hope this was useful, and I'll gladly see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.